Hello everyone. In this use case of transfer services, we are going to demonstrate how the services already purchased can be transferred to a new address of the customer. In this scenario, we see that a customer purchases the broadband services and now the customer is moving to a new address. So he wants his broadband services to be transferred to his new address. To implement this, we have to go through a service point concept where we have to associate few service points to this new address as well as the old address, which indicates that the broadband services are provided at these particular addresses. Means these are the service points available for this particular address for this service. Now we see how is the flow of the flow diagram is like we need to create an account and then allocate the service points to the addresses for the existing address as well as for the new address. Then the customer, when orders the services, we need to associate that service point and then place the order. After some time, when the services will be transferred to the new address. So going to the demo from the application, we have created one account called Martin Zing, which will have the contact, billing profile and the basic details populated. Here we see that he is associated to the 905 NA Road address for which he will be applying for the broadband services. Now we need to go and associate the service points to this address as well as to the new address where he will be shifting his services. So we need to go to data administration and the premises. For this scenario of transfer services, we need to have the addresses defined as premises. So if we go to premises, we see that there is an address at 905 NE Road mentioned as a premises, and if we see the service point, we have already created one service point called the broadband service for Martin Zing for broadband services. Now, since we are going to demonstrate the transfer of the services from 905 NE Road to 896 Lisbon Lane, we need to create a service point for this particular address also. So we have created a service point named Broadband SP for the owner Martin Zing and the product CME Broadband Service. Now we will see that the order is placed for Martin Zing for the CME Broadband Services. So we have an order placed for him for broadband services. Now we need to associate the service point which will be associated to the broadband services, means that this particular address, this service point is applicable. So at the service point, we have added the broadband service which is associated to this address 905 NA Road where these broadband services will be provided. Address service point, and now we see that service ID is populated owner Martin Singh. So we will be now submitting this order to see that the asset is created with this service point and at the address 905 NE Road. And now we need to wait for the order to get completed. Once this order gets completed, you will see that the account is flown to BRM along with this broadband services and asset has been created in CRM. Now the line item is got completed. So we need to see if the order is completed. Maybe a few of the line items are not still complete. So now the order is completed. Now we go to the BRM customer center and search for Martin Singh. So this account is flown to BRM, and we can see the services being enjoyed are the broadband services by this particular account, Martin Singh. Now we need to see that the asset is also created for this particular account with the service point as broadband service. So we have an asset for CME broadband service created with the service point as broadband service for Martin Singh. Now he wants to transfer his services from 905 Any Road to 896 Lisbon Lane. So this new address should expire and should have a particular end date greater than today. And we have the new address 896 Lisbon Lane to be associated. And the new start date. Now we need to see that how these services are transferred. So we see now a quote is created. Now with one broadband service with the previous service point broadband service and with other one as new for the new broadband service point SP. We need to create an order from this. We go and do auto order, and we see that an order is created with CME broadband services in delete with the service point as broadband service, and the address is the old one 905 Any Road, while the CME broadband service with the action code add is added with new service point called broadband SP, which was associated with a new address 896 Lisbon Lane. And we have a broadband move fee also added, which is the charges for moving the services from old address to the new address. We need to change the due date so that our order gets completed now itself, and then we can see that how in the asset also we see that the service point is changed to the new service point. So I'll just make the changes for all the services. And to change records for all of the services, selecting all of them. So you see for all of them it is changed. Similarly we'll change it for the other one. So for this also we've changed the due date, service ID are populated properly. On this also we'll change the due date. So now we are ready to submit this order. And we'll wait for this order to get completed. So after this order gets completed, at the asset level we should be able to see that the services are now having a new service point which is associated with a new address, which indicates that the services has been transferred to the new address. So we see the order is completed. So now we go back to the account Martin Zing. And see that the assets have the new service point called broadband SP, which means the now services has been transferred to the new service address 896 Lisbon Lane, which has the broadband SP service point associated. So that's all for this demo. Thank you.